Hey everyone, it's Sam and I'm back with another video for lawnfawn. Today I am using the new A Mole Lot of Love add-on, A Mole Lot of Love, Little Woodland Library for the two little worms, porcu-pine for you for that tiny little mushroom in the mushroom cluster, stitched banners, and large slimline with sliders dies. I am using dark brown, mustard, and natural beige with Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers to color the little dirt piles of these cute little moles peeking out. And I am starting with my mustard color. I'm just using it in the darkest area of the image and then pulling it out with a slightly minimally damp water brush and then going over that image, the same wet image with dark brown, then pulling it out with mustard, and then finally using the natural beige to blend it all together. So it goes a little bit light to dark and some contrast. I'm also using mustard and vanilla for the, let's say the muzzle and the little feet and hands of these cute little moles. These images are very small, so I'm not doing any kind of like blending with a water brush, but just using a tiny bit of mustard where I want the darkest part to be, following it up by pulling it out with the vanilla. That just adds that. And I know it looks kind of weird right now, but once I color in the rest of the mole, they're going to look just the cutest. I am using a new to me marker for Zig, and it is brick beige. Yes, brick beige along with platinum brown and vanilla to color in the bodies of these moles. The brick beige is a really fun color. It's another kind of grayish like the platinum brown, but not as dark as the platinum brown. So I'm just starting by again using the brick beige medium, the medium color of these three markers, and adding it where I want the darkest part of the images. Then pulling it out with my water brush, then going back over with the darkest color, which is platinum brown, back again with the brick beige medium color, excuse me, and then pulling it all out finally with the vanilla color. And I just think these little guys are so cute, especially that one with the glasses. I mean, adorable. And I love how his belly is kind of lighter than the rest of him. I couldn't resist adding some pink cheeks to these guys, and I'm using light carmine and pale orange for the cheeks and their noses. And that's how I'm going to color all of these cute little moles. I really wanted to use some other images from the new Critter Conversation heart stamp set. I thought about making a card with the fox because orange and pink and red, I mean, maybe it's just me, but they're not colors I use together all the time. But what is a better reason than Valentine's Day? So I was like, oh yes, I want to use that color combination. I was totally inspired to use that color combination. But then I went to put these moles away and they're so cute. Who would have ever thought I would think moles were cuter than foxes? But lawnfawn has done it again. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with these sets. And these moles are just the cute, especially with those pink cheeks. Next, I'm going to color the worms with green, May green, and yellow green. Again, dark, starting with my darkest color, then using the medium color, and then finishing it out, pulling everything together with the lightest color. These images are very tiny. I'm also using the same light carmine to add pink to the worm cheeks. They don't show up as much because the darkest area is by the head for these worms, but I do love it. And I'm still gonna do it. I can't stop, won't stop with the pink cheeks. They're so cute. Next, I'm using light gray, and that's just for this tiny little shovel. That's it. No other markers there. And then the same mustard color I used for a lot of these images for the shovel, no other, and the mushroom stems, no other markers or shading. I'm also using light gray for the dots of the mushrooms, and then pink and pale orange for the mushrooms. And that's it. That's my colored images. So sweet. Next, let's get to the meat of this card, the nitty gritty, which is ink blending, which is my favorite. You guys know that. No surprise. I'm using a handmade stencil that I made with the puffy cloud borders. I die cut it on both ends, as you can see from white cardstock, and I'm just using it as a stencil to create these little soil dirt piles, I guess, soil piles. There, lawnfawn does have its own cloud stencil for this exact purpose. It is a much better tool. However, I did not have enough time to get one for this video, so I used what I had to make my own stencil, and you can too. I am using vintage photo and fossilized amber with just a tiny, 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 tiny little bit of ground espresso because that color is so strong. And as you can see, I'm just coloring this slimline card base that was die cut with the large slimline with sliders dies. Wow, guys, I didn't think I had a lisp until I had to say that sentence. It does sound like I have a lisp, and now I'm super self-conscious about it. Anyway, I'm just starting by using the vintage photo on the bottom and then fossilized amber at the top and just blending it all together so that it's a little bit dark in between the piles of dirt. It actually went pretty quickly. The longest part, I also die cut with the puffy borders from another piece of white cardstock. This is going to go on the front of the card, and I just wanted it to match. So same colors and same ink blending, and it's just going to go right there. The longest part of this card was this splattering. I think I didn't get the paintbrush wet enough. It took me forever. I've sped this up so fast because we would be here for 14 minutes watching me sprinkle the same ink colors as well as white acrylic ink. And you know, if you know me, you know I do love splattering. And so, of course, I was going to splatter all over this to add little sandy details. Since this card is taking, it takes place, the whole scene is underground and in sand and dirt. And so lots of splatters all over. I really think it's just the most fun technique. And then it really starts to pop with the white acrylic ink on top. Again, could not get this to go quicker. Sometimes the splatters want to splat, and sometimes you got to fight for them. And I fought for them, guys. While that's set aside to dry, I'm just heat embossing this part of the sentiment onto black licorice cardstock that I had die cut with the stitched sentiment banners. And that's heat embossed in white. And next we're going to create the card. So this is all dry now, and I'm using the smaller rectangle in the set to die cut out a window for our shaker card. I haven't made a shaker card in a good while. I tried to go back and look, and it has been a hot minute since I have made a shaker card. So that is what I decided to do. I die cut out a piece of acetate using the largest rectangle that I had used for the white cardstock as well. I've glued it to the rectangle, the frame that we created, and I am just adding foam tape with some glue, and I'm going to double layer my shaker card. I think we all kind of know we're not new to the shaker card world, but double foam is where it's at. That's how you're going to really get things to move and groove. So then I'm just using my anti-static tool to go all around the foam tape so nothing sticks to the sides. Get used to seeing the top of my head because we're going to be doing it a lot as I make this card. I am attaching this cute little mole popping up and the worm to the inside of the shaker part, as well as I stamped in ground espresso popping up to say inside the shaker bits. And I'm just gluing everything to the top of the shaker of where I want it all to be. And this was the most fun part. Was creating these little mushrooms and worms and this whole scene. And I really thought, because we were going underground with this card, that a shaker that looked like the dirt and the sand with little sequins would just be adorable. And the mushrooms, you know, they kind of grow where it's dark. So I thought, let's add them. And they had a pop of color. And I love that idea. I'm patting myself on the shoulder. Here I am just creating the card base, just attaching two pieces of white cardstock to make my slimline card base. And we're going to use an anti-static tool to go all over the inside of the shaker so no bits stick to that part either. And I'm just lining it up where I want it to be on the card. and placing the top on to make sure that, yep, that's exactly where I want it to be. And now I'm going to add all my little shaker bits. Here are some different, these are just things I've had in my stash for years and years and years. Brown sequins, gold sequins, like, I'm not even kidding, fossilized amber colored sequins almost. That was a surprise that I found. I was very happy about that. I'm also using some white sequins and off-white sequins. And I found this gold glitter, distress glitter. That's going in there because what's more sand than glitter? And also some white, I forget what they're, I want to say seed beads. I don't know if that's what they're called, but they're little tiny, tiny beads you make to like make a bracelet. I love all how you like mix and match the different textures and sizes and shapes and colors, especially for this kind of, you know, dirty quote unquote shaker card. Just adding glue to my foam tape and attaching it to my card. And we're almost done, guys. I'm so excited. I'm adding the rest of my images to the top of the shaker bits. The sentiment is going to go on top along with that sweet, 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 sweet little mouse. I'm sorry, mole that's literally popping up from the sentiment. And then I am using a little bit of a wet wipe to wipe off some where the glue showed on the acetate that I didn't want it to. So I'm using a wet wipe to kind of wipe that up. And kind of last minute deciding where I want this last little worm to go. And he's going to go right there with his little mole friend who I've nicknamed Digger. And that's it. That's the card. Hello, Fun Shaker. Super easy and fun and such a fun impact. And look, when you put it like this, you can't see any of the shaker bits, but when you shake it, you sure can, guys. Thanks so much for joining me on this fun card journey. Be sure to check this card out up on the Lawnfawn blog and have a wonderful night. Thanks. Bye.